Hey Scorpio, how are you doing? Let's find out. I've been into the decks. I have starting energies from them, okay? I'll go through them, and then we'll shuffle through and see if there's anything else to come through them. We'll do, of course, a full tarot reading, but there's a lot to gain from, in particular, this deck and this deck. This is Susan Sheppard's Phoenix Cards deck, and it gets into ancestral, past life experiences. I use it for ancestral and geographical influences. I'm not sure that I've been here before. There's every reason to see the universe as completely just a recycling plant, so there's every possibility I was. But I have no memories of past lives, so I don't necessarily look for that, but you might. I love her energy. I love Susan Sheppard, and she passed into either another dimension. Is another way of saying she died April 19th this past year, leaving behind her 22-year-old daughter. So, and I know the 19th of April is a sacrifice day. I'm just not sure if it was willing or unwilling. I know that she had huge health issues for years. She had autoimmune problems, but created did an amazing job while she was in this life. And Black Moon astrology cards were the first deck of cards I ever got. But anyway, so we'll get into that. Right now, we're dealing with the Rome people. Gypsy is another name, not the preferred name, of course, in the UK, known as travelers. Actually, I should double check to make sure I know that, make sure that I'm talking about exactly the same people. But then I have Mel Brown. She is a healer over in what she probably doesn't call Australia. She is Aboriginal. I love her decks. This is the Aboriginal Spirit Oracle. And then I have Alana Fairchild's Wild Kuan Yin, a Chinese painter. I put his credits in the description. And Tibet Scenes. I've got Engracia's Divine Doors. I've got the Lenormand, of course, the Morgan Greers. And this is just a deck of playing cards, but I work with, with many of my clients, everybody has an animal, and there are 3 parrots in particular that are in my life. And I find that this deck finally spoke to me in terms of animal spirit energy. So, let's do an overview of what energy is on the table here. And then we'll get into all of them. I'll read these. There's a fair bit to read through, and I want to read through them because the ancestors come through this deck, and there's a tremendous amount of information. Susan went to all the trouble to create different paragraphs. She does a planetary spread. And reads and gives interpretations of this card for each planet position. So I don't want to skip over any one of those readings because the descriptions, because something in each of them might be specific to you right now, okay? It doesn't take long, but we'll do that at the end. So right now you can see we're dealing with a 2 of Pentacles in reverse situation, and I hesitated about that. Okay, no, it's not 2 of Pentacles reversed. It is the Page of Pentacles, and I'm going to screw this up one more time. I've come back in and done an edit because I realized once I got into the tarot reading, I was like, great, way to use your eyes, Kristen. Okay, so Page of Pentacles reversed with the 3 of Pentacles reversed right underneath it. Okay, so I've restaged this. Now I will go back to where I got, and I realized, and I will restart the tarot read. Yeah. There might be some rough edits in here, but there won't be any time lost. But yes, Page of Pentacles reversed is not unlike the 2 of Pentacles reversed, but so what I was saying about seeing this pentacle in this card, yes, still stands, and the indecision is still there. Okay? Right. Correction. Taking care of that now. And I split the deck because I was splitting these, yes. The World came out reversed, and another card came out reversed. And I checked against, the moon came out reversed, and I checked that against other cards in the deck just to see if I needed to turn the deck around. No, there was an even mix of reversed and upright. So I went back to the first card that split two, which was 2 of Pentacles in reverse. So some level of indecision, going back to the Ace of Pentacles, yes? And I see that there's this symbol on this card that isn't a pentacle, but it's, whoop, it's carrying a similar graphic vibe to it, yes? From a distance even. And then we have a snake there. It speaks of life and the cycles, but we'll get into that, of course. But I just see the pentacle. I see that Ace of Pentacles symbolically. Not necessarily by meaning of that one in particular, but just as a visual. So I feel like there's an answer for you in this card about this. Let's just take a look at the energy of this. I'll relight that candle before we start the next segment, but I got into this with Cancer, where I started analyzing more and more what's actually in the drawing. We have a river winding, so that makes it an old river. It might be charting, it might cut across at some point, cut off, like got oxbow rivers, yes? And then what happens is they cut through a new path because they've wound so far and wide, yeah? That might be an issue of cutting a new path. Here she is holding, again, I don't think she does this in all the cards. She's holding this little blossom, and she's holding it in the card that that came through for Cancer as well. This is Kuan Yin. There's an excellent, the story of Kuan Yin staying behind on Earth instead of giving up her immortal rights to stay behind and help everybody with their struggles. But we have, okay, so we're jumping together in unison, side by side. Grass, there are little blooms in the grass. We have a hill situation, hill and valley, so there could be a peak and a trough. We're at the peak here. What's down there? I guess just more hills. Oh, there's a bridge. It's very hard. I can't get it clear for you, but I can say that part there, because I can see it, it's a bridge spanning, it's a modern bridge. So we could have past and present and future all mixed together. Those are some, but there is a bridge, and it's, there's a chasm here. Possibly the river, like it's suggesting that the river's coming through down here as well. So we could have riverbanks here. So think about the tarot cards that carry that energy as well. Okay, so that's a meditation. Underneath it, underneath it we have another, there's the echo. She has, the bloom is coming apart in her hand. That flower has more petals to it anyway. But there is the river meandering, but it's cutting a finer path. Okay, and we'll keep these cards where we can see them. I'm going to get 2 more doors and we'll read those together. See, there's a fair bit of purple and violet on the table here, so there's a lot of psychic thinking going on, a lot of psychic energy. Yes, and using your own ability to decide based on all the wisdom you've accumulated. So we have, probably don't need to hold this up for you to be able to, but relaxation. So we have all the chakras. Well, actually what's interesting, we don't have all the chakras there. Networks. Yes, things connecting, and like circuses, highways, roundabouts. Although I do think there should be a black chakra, and it should be a good thing. But we have that repeating. But we have echoes of, I mean, you clearly have sacral and root, and what's the other one? And then, of course, third eye. But relaxation. Bubbles, molecules. Think on that. And what did we have underneath it? Illusions. Okay. Oh, there we go with that Seven of Cups card. Your own card. But here we have in Lenormand. Yeah, we have what I would say is Pisces energy as Queen of Cups, wearing all crowns and being all houses, being all signs, which is what Pisces is. But clearly a version of your own energy. We have a 17 giving us an 8 of proving yourself to yourself. And we have the Storks, which is sudden movement to safety. Okay, so something is happening, something is definite. And I should mention right now that we are in a period in Sun's still in Libra, I believe. I got to double check that in case it has reached Scorpio by now, Scorpius. But in my astrological work, I say that there's an overlap. There isn't really, because at this point, because Virgo, the Sun lasts in Virgo for a month and a half. So there is no overlap between Libra tropical and Libra sidereal. There's actually a bit of a gap. The Sun doesn't enter Libra until November 1st. So it should still be in there. But, and Libra and Scorpius used to be a combined constellation for many people. But we are in a period of between November 15th and 20th with the chance of going to the 21st or so. It's peak Scorpius energy and a period of harsh transformations. So if anything's happening to you right now, it's because of that. And this sudden movement to safety would have everything to do with that. And then, of course, proving yourself to yourself in this Queen of Cups energy. So deep psychic, deep knowing. So all of that, all of this violet purple on the table is exactly this Queen of Cups energy. Oh, and right underneath that, King of Wands with the plan, but the clouds. So yes, moving away from this trouble. Moving away from this trouble. And then, let's just see. Ooh, Ace of Wands skipping away. Okay. Alright, that's the message. We'll hang on to that as well. Nine of Swords in the upright. Okay, for me that is Aquarius energy, because for me that is 11th house energy, mastermind. So King and Queen of Swords energy. Proving yourself to everyone through communication and knowledge. And your areas of nonconformity, your areas, everything that's Uranus, but with a touch of Saturn, yes? So fears, calculated risks. So really being the self that possibly brings you, well, it's coming into a fullness in that. And you've probably already, chances are good, you've already made your peace with yourself. Because you're past the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords is my Houdini card, where she gets herself out of other swords. I don't say it in the Kabbalah way, where we're to blame for our own miseries. And the Jungian approach, where it's like all subconscious. No. For me, there are demons. There's the devil. There is, his name's the Great Architect. And his star is Chitra, Spica. And other people surely can put swords around you, and it's an escape card. But it's up to you to figure out how to escape. You have spirit guides that help you, but you really have to pull it together for yourself in order to succeed. Not because they don't want to succeed for you, but because they can't actually pull it off for you. They can only help you. Right? So for me, you're already past that with this Nine of Swords here. So yes, the traditional sense of agony or anxiety and sleepless nights is a possibility. but I like to put more of a positive spin, a numeric spin on these things in terms of what have you accomplished to get this far. So you're near completion and a fresh start, and you have that Ace of Wands, so a whole new desire sitting waiting for you. Okay, so let's I'll set these apart, I'll set them up, and we'll get a few more doors and get into the tarot reading. And I'm gesturing to things that you can't see because I didn't change the focus. Okay, so let's get a couple more doors. I noticed as soon as I was packing up the Lenormand though as well, we have the owls, the birds in reverse. So the gossip around you, something is over. We also have a 7 of coins there, 7 of pentacles. So for me, that's Virgo energy. It's 6th house energy. So it could be a workplace situation. We have a 12, which gives us a 3 of manifestation, but that's reversed, so it takes us back to 2. So that's probably referencing our 2 of pentacles situation right here. But yeah, I want to say that something is shutting them up, is my spin on that. That was my immediate take on that. That because those clouds were there, because this movement is here, yes. And that was in sharp, it was just in steady progression right there. So I kept that card and put that on the table. But let's get a couple more doors. Okay. All right, 2 doors. And very much, of course, a cathedral. Okay, it's papal, so it's Catholic specifically. So you got Hierophant energy there right off the bat, so 2nd house energy. They're going in or coming out. Interesting. Very much a 3 of Pentacles card. Doorway. And with 3 of Pentacles, it's always, for me, that's a conflicts of interest card, where there's the chance, if you want to value yourself properly. But in the, I've got it right here, it was right underneath the 2. And it was in reverse as well. But I'm going to put it back in the deck. But usually you have the Mason consulting with the nun and the monk, yes, over the blueprints. And it's all heavily, I mean, all the cards are Great White Brotherhood cards. They're all esoteric's not the right word. Masonic, okay. Rosicrucian, Thelemic, you know, take your pick. They're all mirroring each other. But it's all about climbing the ladder and being, you know, going from initiate to master mason. And we might not all want to do that, right? We might not all subscribe to that. And definitely when you get into that, then you shake hands no matter what. And you are, you are part of a thing that is going to cost you something to get out of. Right? So you want to be careful what organizations you join, who you sell yourself to. That's my take on that. And this door is carrying that energy for me. But that's me doing the reading. Or getting the messages. Yes? Okay. Let's see. I'll bring these up to the camera, even though we won't spend so much time on that one because I just did. But what can we see from this one? I like the colors are nice and calming, and we've got that violet vibe to it. We also have a moon. It could be a hazy sun, but I don't want to say that's the moon. And we have the lunar eclipse, right? So there's something to that. There's also the obvious usual indications of the moon. The safe passage. That's what the moon card says to me. Staying on the path that is yours. The sacred path that is yours. We have a light. Do we? I'm just looking at it close up. Yeah, it's not on. The light's not on. It's just the covering that's reflecting something. I'm speaking of this part right here. The gates are open. There are stairs leading down. So there's like a sense of release. Release from possibly something that felt imprisoning to something that is... And there's a vista. We've got haze. So we've got hills. It could be an illusion. If we get into that illusions, right? It could be a mirage of sorts. Just a visual effect. But yeah. Well, what do we need to say about popes right now? And again, an echo of... Do we have a swastika of sorts? Yes, so that's taking me to the work that I've been doing to build all the knowledge base off of everything. Basically, a lot. So much starts in India. I've got thoughts about magic squares and I Ching and a Tamil magic square in particular, but I realized I'm looking at not magic square motifs, but it's making me think of them because it's connecting dots in my mind. But yes, we have... So the swastika, typically I believe it's a peace symbol, is it not? Coiling, coiling, coiling around up here. And the sort of scalloped... Got to think about that energy. Beautiful arch, I want to say. This is actually just making me think. Now, I need to be correct about this, but I need to look this door up. I'm getting actually Arabic thoughts of tessellation work, but it might not necessarily originate with them, but they certainly ran with it more than anybody else. So I've got absolutely tessellation design in here. Patterning. Okay. Contrasting though, absolutely contrasting thoughts and yet the same. With the point, the strong arch. Okay, whereas these two arches have a point, yes, a peak. This one does not. Okay, those are my observations for now about those. And next, and we'll read them at, well, actually, no, for Cancer I read it now, so let's read them now. Get some clarity here. And then we'll connect them to the tarot. Draw down the moon. The forest nymphs dance in sheer delight, singing soft songs. Find us in the wild. Good night. Okay, so some craziness is coming. Because that's fairy world. Excellent. We'll see where they're coming in. Jude's song. A reminder for even the most hopeless of lost cases. You can find peace within the strangest of places. This will be interesting to match. Okay. And see, I was getting peace off of this one. Palmistry. Ah, more magic. Fortune and tarot. Collective destiny. The palm lines from birth tell your sacred palmistry. Listen to the notes of intuition. And we know that intuition is a non-word. You either, your brain did the work, or psychic. You got it from a psychic. You got it from a guide, a spirit guide, okay? It's just the people that use the word intuition or that invented that word are just scared of giving any credit to anything psychic. Intuition means knowing something without knowing how you know it. Well, we can absolutely decide how we know what we know. We know whether our brain went to work with the concepts that it came across and then did its thing of being the machine that it is, the imagination problem solver that it is, and came up with a whole new idea that's all yours, original to you, even if it already exists in the universe. You know, but your brain did the work. Or, yes, a guide told you something, mind to mind. That's it. So, one or the other. I'm not saying I'm saying allow for both, but let's be specific there and drop that non-word. It's amazing to me, a word that isn't a word. Okay, so we'll figure out where those go now that we get into the tarot. And we good? We good. Okay. Young energy. This could go back to childhood. This could involve a child. I've got to start all. This moment of realization. Yes. Okay. So we're past it. I've gone back. I've recorded my fix. I'll edit that back in. So I want to say that that's part of the process. I noticed that this happened to Minnow Pond with Chris, where he had recorded all of Taurus reading, second house, and then while he had gone through the whole reading without knowing that he wasn't actually recording, and it sank him for a day, and then he took a day or two to actually go back and redo the reading and make sure that it was actually recording. So I feel an echo of that here, where there's no reason why my brain should have not worked. Sorry about my neighbor and their water running right now in a way that's really annoying, but so there's something that needed to be seen accurately, or something needed to be restarted, is what I feel, Scorpio. Or yeah, there's something that needed to be, something that was seen. There was, and if we go back to that illusion word, if we go back to seeing something incorrectly, possibly, we'll see, okay? But usually whatever happens in a reading means something for the reading, yeah? So I didn't want to start all over again. I just took a moment to regroup. So if you need to take a minute to regroup, time to regroup with whatever you're working on or whatever you're coping with. This card hit the floor in this position. So here we go again. 9 swords repeated. So this proving yourself to everyone, which is a 9 for me. Because I think in terms of the numeric, again, just like joining a system, but what does it mean if a 1 means, it's numerology. 1s mean a thing, 2s mean a thing, 3s mean a thing, right? So let's stick to what it means, the progression of succeeding in something, achieving something. So because I use a form of card geomancy doesn't actually use cards, and what I've learned from it, what I can find of it online, coming from Ethiopia, but the direction that things fall in matters, and that's been a thing that's come through for me with my guides in readings, is to let the cards fall and count them in the energy of how they fall. Both astrologically and as energy. So we have possibly, it's not squaring off with this Page of Pentacles person or state of mind, state of being, okay? But we do have, it's closer to being completely in reverse than to being upright, which could be a good thing. It could mean that it's almost over, yes, but it's almost in a sextile or trine position, so there's either luck there or there's been a long journey. A sextile would be a lot of work, a lot of extra work that has to be done in your life or for a particular situation based on your chart. Or trine means you've got a lucky aspect between 2 planets that are helping you in this area. So again, this is for me 11th house, so your areas of nonconformity and your uniqueness. And 11th house, I find, is all about what really made you happy as a child, whether or not you got to have or do the things that made you happy in childhood. And there might be some things that got suppressed or that are coming up to the surface that you noticed, things that you didn't know but they were denied to you that you really, really, really liked. But But the things that really turn your crank, okay? And possibly it was an age thing. There were things, you might have had interests that you had to grow into for propriety's sake. Especially Scorpio. I was creating sex clothes as a kid, and I was not necessarily, I wasn't seriously, there was no serious sexual abuse. There was mental, there were situations, yes, that were sexually abusive. Not necessarily, I shouldn't say not necessarily, I should be clear about what I'm saying, outside the home. But, no, I just had I was just Scorpio. I was Scorpio. So I'm inclined towards sexual humor, sexual interests, things like that. And it's, and it starts when you're young. It doesn't mean I did not want to be abused. I did not want to engage in anything inappropriate with anybody older than me. Nothing like that. So I'm not welcoming that. And I'm not saying that that's okay. But there would be no way to get support from adults, parents, about those things in childhood. Okay. So there might be things about that connected to this, since they're getting me to talk about it. So the question is it good that it's in reverse, which takes us back to the Eight of Swords, though? That trapped. Possibly. But yeah, 11th house. So what you know and what you're going to do with what you know. And what you're going to innovate, and what your creations are, if you have any. How you want to fit in without fitting in. Again, all that talk of the Three of Pentacles with conforming, but this is about not conforming. So there's a lot of leadership energy around it, which is more than a page is up for it. Although you have very strong children in the world that do absolutely, and I'm not going to mention the obvious, but then again, their capacity for being able, they shouldn't have to. Okay. Oh, now we have some energy squaring off. We might not get any more tarot than that. Wow. How? Wow. No kidding. So for me, this is Taurus. For me, this is Virgo. Because for me, this is second house and this is sixth house. I stick to the numeric value of things because there's no particular reason to stick to what Ptolemy came up with. In terms of cardinal energies and fixed and mutable. Mutable means that your actions are dependent on the actions of others as your own actions. And so for me, houses 9, 10, 11, 12, which are all geared towards, career, professional level activities, right? Which are entirely interdependent on the actions of others. That to me is all mutable energy. And houses 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all fixed for me, and 1, 2, 3, 4 are all cardinal. That's how I see it making sense. So again, we have this Knight of Pentacles squaring off. We could say the Knight is stuck because he's actually sideways, but he is squaring off with this page, which means that there's friction here and there's development and growth. Where you have a square in your chart is where there's an effort being made through those planets to make things happen in your life so that you don't get stuck. So here we have a progression from childhood to young adulthood, right? But the Knight is taking orders from, yes, so does the Page, but the Page has like that freedom, more freedom of the, less, not necessarily is bound by responsibility. But we could say student energy, and then we could say employee energy, yes? Then we want to get to King-Queen energy, where the terms are most favorable for you. And we have Queen and King up here. So they're squaring off, and it's connected to these 9 swords. Okay. Anything else we want to say through the Morgan Greers? Oh, I put this, when I put this back, I put them in the upright. They should be in the reverse. Yes. Let's fix that right away. And relight that candle too. And then I remembered the Ace of Wands and put that back on the table. Concentrate, Kristen. Okay. Do we take it? I guess we do. This is interesting. It's your own, one of your own cards. One of your own cards, and it is squaring off. Look at this swastika we're building. Windmill. This piece. Now, see, these are not in opposition because they're in the same direction. This gift, there's a gift. There's a gift. An affirmation from a spirit guide. It's on the table. It's on the table. Leading us back to the Five of Cups. So the upset. Another flame just went out, so I'm going to pause and relight, or light some new candles. But, okay, these flowers, now they might not actually, they look like lilies, okay, but they're reminiscent of, and by no accident, 5-petaled rose, which is a symbol of Venus. It's the pattern Venus traces over a period of 8 years. Venus is in Sagittarius right now, so there should be a lot of healing energy around your basic needs right now. I think she's probably past halfway through Sagittarius. But yes, the 5-petaled rose is the pattern that Venus traces around in her orbit around Earth. Every 8 years is a full 5-petal pattern. And if you look at your life, if you look at age 40, then that gives you 8 or 5 cycles, 5 Venus cycles, right? So 5. But if you look at what happened. Okay, I'm just going to see. I was going to go back to, I just stuck my finger in a candle, in a flame. Awesome. Okay, don't go sticking your fingers in flames. Let's see if Lenormand, since they had so much to say about this situation, do they have anything to say about these 6 cups? Or the progression? Taurus, Virgo, because then we're heading for Capricorn. Nothing? Okay, they don't have it. They don't have it. I've got Tower reversed at the bottom of the deck with the 6 of Swords and Safe Passage, and a 19, which gives us a 20, which gives us a 2. 19. The Tower in this deck gets you to look at things from 2 perspectives. If you're on the ground looking up at the tower and all the rules and regulations, or if you're in the tower looking down and all the ramifications and implications of your decisions and how they affect everything else. So, you know, looking at a thing from more than one direction. Okay, let's see if Morgan Greers have any final thing to say. Yep, okay, they do. About the Nine of Swords in particular. They're not, it's crossing, but it's not a heavy cross. Okay, wow. So speaking of Capricorn and 10th house. Speaking of it. Not exactly entirely in reverse. Okay, so clearly with, I mean, they are crossing, and we have, of course, that X in this card. And we have this 10. But this proving yourself to everyone crossed with this full career energy, 10th house for me, which is, and I was talking about the progression, yes. The thing about Pentacles is how magic they are, how much they manifest the spiritual and the magical into the physical. So it's, I think I was saying, I hope I'm not repeating this to you, I think I was saying it to Cancer, about how the Pentacles are actually more frightening to me as a magical energy than anything else. In our energy, me being a Scorpio rising with a Pisces Mercury, Pisces mind, and South Node, and Cancerian Saturn and Mars, tremendous psychic magic powers, yes. Everybody does, all signs do, but in different ways, right? But ours is in the knowing. In the knowing primarily. And connecting with the other side, absolutely. Them speaking through us, but the earth energy, and we all have earth energy in our charts. The earth energy is about deciding on the investments, right? It's the alchemy. So there's a lot of heavy magical energy on this, like potent magical energy on this table right now, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know if these doors connect with anything yet. But draw down the moon. We have the downward. We do have down. Find us in the wild. Good night. Find us in the wild. I think I better leave the doors up. Hopeless of lost cases. You can find peace within the strangest of places. Well, that's a lost case. So there's peace there, and it's attached to this. We're tracing the pattern of the swastika here. Palmistry, fortune and tarot, collective destiny. So collective destiny. Palm lines from birth, tell your sacred palmistry. Well, from birth, listen to the notes. Are these the notes from birth? We have childhood. We have the progression. We have childhood represented here as well. And memory. We have 40 years. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cycles. So a lifetime of Venus cycles. So the only thing I'm not quite sure about is the draw down the moon. We'll get into the wild Kuan Yin in a minute, but let's get into the relaxation card then. I'll get the book. Okay, so this is Mel's book to go with it, and I will hold the card up while I read from it. Okay, I will also see if I can get that clear enough for you if you want to pause and read for yourself. Okay, but I'll hold this up in the meantime again. Okay. Ah, that magic word, relaxation. What was I just saying about magic? It seems to be the answer to most problems. It's elusive, yet worth the effort once you have found it. Relaxation is a great place to be, as it's the key to your inner self in the physical, emotional, and spiritual sense. It's your connection to spirit which provides you with the opportunity to recharge and heal the physical and emotional wounds. This state of relaxation honors your body, mind, and spirit, and allows you entry into this sacred place within yourself. As I'm dipping away off camera. Are you feeling battle-worn and suffering from fatigue? You've been so busy lately that you haven't had time to relax, and when those rare moments have presented themselves, you find yourself restless and looking for things to do because you're so used to occupying every second of your day. Even at night, your head is still racing with things that have to be completed tomorrow. I also suspect your sleep patterns may be disrupted as a result of your constant head chatter, only adding to your exhaustion and fatigue. You must find time for yourself before this becomes a health issue. You will find support from those close to you as they can see that you're in urgent need of time out. When you stop, you'll find the much needed time to reevaluate your situation and to recharge your batteries in preparation for the next round. Okay. Those are not empty words. So, what happened to needing to, I needed to correct, yes, see clearly, okay, that's what I needed to do. Battle worn, absolutely. Can find peace. Did this come to end on purpose? We've got movement here, away from a bad situation, and away from gossip, away from people watching and whispering and saying things and smearing. Okay, let's thank you, Mel and Mel's ancestors, and let's get into Susan's card here. I'll get the book.